I'm Raymond Wolfson, CEO of Getech Group. Fortunately, we've already seen the disclaimers, so we can go through that. I'll very, very briefly give you an introduction to Getech. Couldn't possibly go into all the detail of what we do, but let's start a little bit of history. Getech originated in the University of Leeds in 1986, when our founder, Derek Fairhead, had this really smart idea about getting hold of gravity and magnetic data, because he was an expert in interpreting it and understanding from this data the structures underneath the Earth that might be of interest for oil exploration. So he built this business over almost 20 years. We established a global reputation for grav and mag data and understanding what that meant for oil and gas exploration. In 2004, we realized that, well, we can build on this. We can build on it substantially. And we started what we call the Petroleum Systems Group. Now, the difference was that the gravity and magnetic data helps you understand the structures. Are they the right shapes? Are they the right types of Earth's crust that might be of interest? With our Petroleum Systems Group, where we were going is looking at the evolution of the world so that we could understand whether there might be petroleum in the right state and the right maturity within those structures. This was a story for the IPO in 2005. We were the first University of Leeds company to float on AIM, and it was a successful IPO. We raised $2.25 million net. Because we're growing, we need our own offices, so we're showing here the offices that we've bought, no mortgage, so pure asset on our balance sheet. Now, Leeds, as you probably realize, isn't the center of the oil industry, but Houston is. And we recognized this very early on, and in 1996 set up a subsidiary in Houston, which we still have to this day, and that is primarily a marketing and sales operation. So in a nutshell, what we provide is geophysical and geological data, but we do a lot of work. We have a lot of geoscientists who build on that data to understand what it means for exploration. We provide it normally to new ventures groups and asset groups in oil and gas and mining companies. What they're interested in at this early stage of the exploration is reducing the risk. So what we deliver to them is multi-client products, including data, which could be the original data, including interpretations, which we build from whatever data we can find. We also deliver consultancy projects, and the demand for this was so big that just over a year ago, we set up a separate division to start building that side of the business. We deliver training. In itself, it doesn't generate a lot of income, but it's brilliant. If you can train 20 people in a major oil company and they go back out into the company, then they become champions for you. And we do a lot of R&D because it's critical that we stay in the forefront of all the technologies that we work in. Global client base, new ventures, as I said. I've listed some of the clients here. I get caught out from time to time, but I do tell people that pretty well any company any of the major companies that they're aware of, they are clients. We have in total 80 staff, 78 of whom are in Leeds, including approximately 55 geoscientists, most of them MSc, PhD, a very international group as well, highly skilled. We plan to be increasingly professional and increasingly well-known. And as part of that, we went through a formal rebranding exercise. Now, this wasn't just about the logo. It was about who we are, how we want to be seen by our clients, how we want to be seen by ourselves. One outcome was the visible rebranding. On the left, you see the boxes that we designed for our Globe product, which is our flagship product. On the right, the exhibition stand. That was the very first time that we went out with our new brand into the public. Our strengths, well, we have a global technical reputation. If you think about it, what we're doing is we're helping oil companies decide on major exploration programs at a time when they don't have a lot of hard data. They don't know the right answers. They don't know whether there's oil there. They don't know where to drill. So what they're looking for is solutions that are credible, based on good data, using workflows, scientific methods that they are happy to buy into and work with. Reputation and credibility are fundamental. Off-balance sheet assets, we don't record on our balance sheet the gravity and magnetic data library. We can't value the team that we've built up, although that is fundamental to the growth in the business. We've built this globe framework, which I'll talk about a little bit later on, which again is not on the balance sheet. And we have a lot of regional reports that we sell. And just to give you an idea of the scale of these, we have more than 20 reports in our library at the moment. Their individual price ranges, let's say, between a few tens of thousands of pounds and a couple of £100,000. The marginal cost to deliver these is minimal, as I'll show you in a minute. So why would an oil company want to buy from us? What we do is we provide a lower cost solution. Oil company cost bases are very, very high. But as well, if we are planning multi-client products, we can build them, share the costs between several clients. So for an oil company, this is a lot of money saved. But also, if we already have a product built, it saves them a lot of time. They don't want to set somebody on a project for 6 months if they can get it now. What we aim to do is help them improve the targeting of the areas that they want to look at, help them identify additional areas. They might be in particular blocks, but they don't understand the regional geology, so they don't really know what's happening outside the blocks that they already have. That is one of our strengths. And if they go to acquire seismic, you're talking millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars to acquire this seismic. They want to get that right. They don't want to be looking at seismic in areas that just aren't interesting. We help them identify the best areas to look at. I'm not going to hide the fact we had a bad year last year. We've announced it. We've told the market. I think the only point to make about this is, first of all, we've got a good growth path for the years before. Secondly, this was a market phenomenon. It's not a Getech phenomenon in the last year. If you look at the share prices of the major consultancies, and we're talking about the billion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar consultancies, you'll find that several of them did a lot worse than we did. And we should be more volatile. We're a small company. But we've built a certain amount of visibility into our income flow, and that gave us a pretty good protection in the year 2013. I'm not going to talk about the recent financials, except to say that for a company of our size, we have a very strong balance sheet, we have a good cash position, and if you look at the net assets figures, it's pretty close to the sum of the cash and the value of the building. We pay dividends. We've announced on several occasions that our policy is progressive dividends, and we intend to continue that policy. The fundamental business model, as I was saying, if we've built a regional report, if somebody then buys it from us, costs us £100, £200 to deliver, even though it might be tens or more than 100,000 of pounds. So we invest up front in those reports, we build them, that's staff cost, but then when we sell them, it's a very simple process. The data, again, very simple model. We license it in, we license it to clients. If we have to pay royalties, we pay them when the clients pay us. That's the deal. Very cash generative, very profitable. Okay, I said we did a profit warning. In that profit warning, I also said we have a very, very strong pipeline. And I think some people thought, well, yeah, we would say that, wouldn't we? But very quickly, some of that pipeline started to come through, so we were able to confirm that it really was the case. Almost immediately, we had a $2 million contract after the profit warning. I won't talk about the others, but the last one, which was Monday of this week, that was our biggest ever contract. It's $5 million with the Angolan national oil company, Sonangol. Most of that we will deliver in the coming year. So, for us, a lot of what we do is about building this globe ecosystem. And I call it an ecosystem because in some respects, it's a very, very big database. And it's a database that is built in layers. And each layer is a certain type of data. Some of this data is primary data, measurements like gravity and magnetic field strengths. Those are the gravity and magnetic data. We have seismic data, we have well data in there. But a lot of it, and where the real value comes in and where we are different, is that we build on that data to generate interpretations of what this means for the geology, and particularly for the evolution of the geology. It's very, very important to understand how the world evolved to get to where we are now. And we have, our 55 geoscientists are constantly working on this. 30 of them are devoted to building Globe. And this is our big asset. Why would a client use Globe? Well, we have a number of clients who've bought Globe as a whole. When we sold it to our sponsors, they'd been buying into a 3-year program. The first 3-year program ended in July. What they were buying was essentially access to this database. It's all provided in digital form. They can tell exactly where all our information comes from. We even tell them our methods. Because as I said before, the important thing is credibility and reputation. If they don't believe that we have good science, good methods, they won't buy it. So they want to know, first, if we sell it to a global new ventures team, where in the world do they want to explore? Which major region? It might be somewhere in Africa, it might be South America, wherever. They can then use Globe to help them high-grade the regions, so they can decide on a particular region. Then they start to move in within the region, and their asset groups will be saying, well, which blocks and basins should we be looking at? Then they can decide on that, then they can work with us, and we can help them understand in even more detail, which leads them then to start looking at their drilling and seismic. So for us, one way of looking at the future is to say, we have this massive asset, which is Globe. How do we get the best value out of that? How can we give the best products and services to our clients? So we're selling Globe as an entire product. The second 3-year period of Globe started in July this year. We already have a number of clients signed up to that. I'm not going to tell you now how many, but I will reiterate what I've said in the past, that the majority of the 10 that we signed up for the first period of Globe will sign up to the second period, and there will be others. And that's a 3-year commitment for them. When we do proprietary projects, which we call commissions, what we do is we say, right, we already know about that area, we've got it in Globe. We're going to basically charge in to our commissions project an extract from Globe. Gives us a quick start. It also means that we can add value, add price, add value to us, add value to the client. We can build our new, more detailed reports much more quickly and more efficiently because we have all this information already in our Globe database. And what is also important is when we sell Globe to a client on a 3-year program, what they're getting is a defined set of deliverables. I talked about data layers. They get some of those data layers. They don't get the whole lot. So there's lots more that we can still sell to them. They don't get the gravity and magnetic data. They don't get our climate models. They don't get our tide models. And there are other layers in there, higher detail layers that they don't get. So for the future, one of the big strengths that we're building in the second period of Globe, we're increasing the resolution. We're breaking it down so that we can sell it to smaller companies. A global product is really only of interest to companies that are looking globally. But of course, by numbers, 90, 95%, 99% maybe of the companies in the world, they have regional interests. They don't want to buy a global product. Globe is going to be in a form where if somebody wants a particular area, they'll just say to us, what have you got in that area? We'll cut it out of Globe. We're also looking at new delivery mechanisms that make it much, much easier, particularly for the smaller companies, to get access to this database. They won't pay the full cost that we charge the big clients for access to Globe. So, for the future, for our growth, we believe the foundations are in place. We have the asset base. We have on-balance sheet and off-balance sheet assets. We have what we believe is a good management team. We have good sales and technical teams. And crucially, we have this reputation and credibility. We are known to all the oil companies that you can, all the major oil companies that you can mention. So the plan is more value realized from Globe, maintain our leading technical position in a number of disciplines, build our consultancy business stream, and of course this contract we announced this week is bigger than usual contracts, let's say, by focusing on key clients, but also working more with the smaller clients as well. There's a lot of smaller clients. We've started working with them. they perceive much more quickly the value in what we're doing because we're much closer to the point at which they actually start drilling. We're looking at new business streams, we have a number of strategic partnerships, and we're looking at acquisitions, all as means of further growth. Thank you.